Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, the YouTube channel, and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift. So let's get started with the first one today from Andy452. Hey Aaron, considering the reasons we think CM Punk left, if Daniel Bryan wins both matches at WrestleMania, could Punk possibly change his mind before his contract expires and his return? Could this build to another match between the two in Punk's last match at Payback? Well, I don't see CM Punk coming back and having one match at Payback and then his contract expiring. I think if CM Punk comes back, he'll be back full-time with a new deal. That's how I see it. And I think that if CM Punk was that burned out, that he was going to miss WrestleMania and miss the big payday, I think that he's not coming back anytime soon. I think that it would take a lot for him to come back in the near future. I think that mentally he is completely done with wrestling right now. Now, anything could happen. CM Punk could come back for Payback, perhaps. Anything is possible, never say never, and really the only person that knows the answer to the questions is CM Punk. He will decide if and when he's ready to come back. But I do think that there's a decent chance WWE and CM Punk will work things out at some point. If I had to make a bet one way or another, I would say that one of these days we will see CM Punk back in a WWE ring. It's just a matter of time and when he is mentally ready to come back. All right, this next one comes from It Doesn't Matter. Hey Aaron, it looks like Daniel Bryan is going to main event WrestleMania 30. At what point do you think WWE decided that he should be a part of the WrestleMania main event, and what influenced this decision? Well, as much as I would like to say that he was planned to be in the main event from the get-go, I think that it was only in the past month or so that WWE made the decision to put him in the main event. I think that WWE's long-term plan was for Batista to come back, be a huge babyface with the fans, and defeat Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And WWE also had CM Punk in the plans for WrestleMania. I think that CM Punk leaving, that was part of the change, and also the reaction that Batista got and the fans hijacking the Rumble. But really, I think the fans hijacking the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view when Batista was out there, I think that that was the final nail in the coffin for a Batista-Randy Orton main event at WrestleMania. I think at that point, WWE knew they had to put Daniel Bryan in the title match, and fans were upset about CM Punk. They were upset about Daniel Bryan not being in the main event, and they knew they had to do something. So I think that it was a combination of all those things, I think, that led up to Daniel Bryan being in the main event at WrestleMania 30. All right, this next one comes from Luke. Do you think that Triple H should turn face if he loses to Bryan at WrestleMania? What would you do? I mentioned this in a previous video. I would like to see Triple H reform Evolution with Batista and Randy Orton, and maybe even have Ric Flair come back, or you could have a new fourth person as the future of the company. You could have Triple H become the new Ric Flair, and Batista and Randy Orton would be the current guys, and then you have an NXT guy as the future. I would like to see that. I think it's too soon to turn Triple H back into a babyface. I think that you can keep this Triple H and Daniel Bryan feud going for at least another 6 months, maybe past SummerSlam. I think that you can do a bunch of things with Triple H and Daniel Bryan. You can have Evolution. You can have all sorts of different storylines continuing after WrestleMania. I just think it's too soon to turn Triple H. But at some point, I think you should have him endorse Daniel Bryan and say, you know what, you're better than I gave you credit for, and you are, in fact, an A-plus player. So I do think that should be the end result of the storyline, but I do think WWE should keep it going for a bit longer. All right, this next one comes from York Master. Hey, Aaron, do you think AJ Lee is dropping her title at WrestleMania? And if so, do you expect it to remain with the Total Divas for as long as the show is popular? I think that there is a decent chance we will see AJ lose the title in the near future, and WrestleMania seems to be the best place to do it. She's been champion now for a record amount of time, and she's getting up there. She's like the CM Punk of the Divas division in terms of how long she's held the title. But I think that it's time for a change, and I think WrestleMania is the place to do it. I've heard that there's a possible storyline where you can have Daniel Bryan as the WWE champion and Brie Bella winning the Divas title, and two of them are champions, and then they're getting married right after WrestleMania, so you can have that whole big storyline, and you can use that on Total Divas as well, in addition to WWE television. So, I could see something like that happening, and I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of Divas match at WrestleMania, maybe a multi-Diva match with a whole bunch of them in there. And, you could have it so AJ loses the title without actually taking the fall, and then you can keep that feud going. So, I do think that in all likelihood we will see a title change soon. All right, this next one comes from Shiggy Diggy Bang. What did you think of the Season 2 premiere of Total Divas? Who are your favorite characters? Also, who do you prefer, Eva Marie or her douchebag family? Well, I enjoyed it. I do enjoy Total Divas. It is a train wreck of a show, and it's this scripted drama that's presented as a reality show. And, it's like every other reality show that you watch on VH1 or MTV or whatever. But I do find it interesting to see the Divas on the show and some of the top stars like John Cena and Daniel Bryan. But there aren't really a lot of likable characters on this show. And as far as Eva Marie and her family is presented as this very strict family, and they have their deep moral beliefs about marriage. And, on one hand, you are sympathetic towards Eva Marie, but at the same time, she lies to them, and, she doesn't tell them the truth. So, I wish the characters were a little bit more likable, but it is what it is, and I just sit back and enjoy the show for what it is. Like I said, a scripted reality show and this fabricated drama and all that. It's a bit silly, and I don't mind the show. I do find it entertaining. All right, this next one comes from Miguel960. Hey Aaron, how do you like the build to WrestleMania so far? Are we going to get a triple threat match with The Shield? Some sort of tag team title match, perhaps? Overall, I think that WWE has done a very good job with the WrestleMania build-up. If I had to give it a grade on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I would give it a 7 or an 8. I think that all the titles should be defended at WrestleMania every year, and they should be marquee matches with proper build-up. But as we've seen year in and year out, the titles, unless it's a WWE title, end up as secondary, and sometimes you don't even get those titles defended at WrestleMania. I would like to see the U.S. title defended. I think that a triple threat with the Shield is something that you should do at WrestleMania, but as I mentioned in the previous video, it appears that WWE is going in a different direction for the time being, and the Shield will likely be facing Kane and two other people, whether it's Harper and Rowan or the New Age Outlaws. That remains to be seen. And as far as the tag team titles, I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of tag team title match at WrestleMania. Hopefully there should be one. But these matches, the undercard should be built up properly, in my opinion. And I know that WWE likes to focus on the top matches, as they should, and really that's what's most important, is to build up your top matches. But I would like to see the card from top to bottom with important matches that have a period of build-up and, you have a backstory going into every match on the card. That's what I would like to see. But WWE's done a tremendous job with the top matches. Brock Lesnar and Undertaker, John Cena and Bray Wyatt, and of course the WWE title match with the Daniel Bryan and Triple H storyline that's been going on since SummerSlam. So, WWE's done a very solid job, in my opinion, as they usually do every year. All right, this one comes from Ben Timms 524. Hey Aaron, what would you do to make SmackDown more relevant in 2014? Well, I don't think there's all that much you can do when the brand extension is dead at this point. I think that SmackDown is always going to be the B show. It's a taped show, and Raw is always going to be the A show. When you had the brand extension, you could make SmackDown more of an A show because, you had half of your roster only on SmackDown. So you could focus on the major storylines on the SmackDown shows. But you can't do that now. Now you have everybody on both shows, and Raw is the live show. It's the show that's been around over 20 years now. So, it's always going to have a priority over SmackDown. So that's just the way it is. I suppose you could make SmackDown live every week, but I really don't think it would make all that much of a difference in terms of the TV ratings. Maybe the quality of the show would be a little bit better when the wrestlers are going out there and they know it's live and they know you cannot have a second take. I mean, sometimes you get better performances when the shows are live, but besides that, I don't really think there's all that much you can do. All right, final question today from Freak47. Hey Aaron, in your opinion, has there been a good opportunity in recent memory to turn John Cena heel? Personally, I would have loved to have seen it happen in WrestleMania 29 during the Cena suckered The Rock in segment, or letting Cena win via People's Elbow. There have been several opportunities from a creative standpoint to turn John Cena heel. Going back to 2010 with the Nexus storyline, you could have had John Cena align himself with Wade Barrett and the Nexus group. That was one period where you could have turned Cena heel. Also, after WrestleMania 28, when John Cena lost to The Rock, you could have had him lose to Brock Lesnar the next month and have this downward spiral, and he gets to the point where he finally snaps, and that would have made logical sense at that point. I mean, there have been several times where WWE could have pulled the trigger with a John Cena heel turn, but he's still their number one merchandise seller, and they still see him as the face of the company, and I think that I don't know if we're ever going to see a John Cena heel turn. I don't know if they're ever going to change his character. I think that as long as they can make money off of him with the hustle, loyalty, respect, and a never give up persona, they're going to keep him babyface. He's going to be one of those guys like Ricky Steamboat or Sting, a guy who's known strictly as a babyface. But, I mean, anything's possible. Never say never. But I think the more time that passes, the chances decrease that we'll see a John Cena heel turn. All right, that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. If you enjoyed today's video, share it, Facebook and Twitter. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding WrestleMania 30. And I will see you guys next time for another edition of NoDQ&A video.